5 of the world's most lethal warriors watch their wife fall to the floor, entirely powerless to intervene. They are bound by a vow called Agechavas. After 12 years of forest banishment, the Pandava brothers are now executing their final mandatory year of exile in total secrecy. This timeline illustrates the zero-tolerance policy of that 13th year. They must live within society, but if their true identities are discovered, the entire exile resets to the beginning. To survive, these former kings are hiding in plain sight within the Virata kingdom. Men who once commanded the world's most powerful armies are now sweeping floors, cooking royal meals, and tending cattle as common servants. Their legendary physical strength is no longer an asset. Bhima, specifically, is known across the continent for a bone-crushing wrestling style that no other man can replicate, making his immense power his greatest liability. The Virata royal court is controlled by one man, Kichak. As the kingdom's supreme military commander, he has earned a reputation for being entirely unbeatable in physical combat. That military dominance breeds a dangerous arrogance. Kichak fixates on the queen's newest maid, who is actually the Pandava queen, Draupadi in disguise, and his obsession quickly turns into relentless harassment. The harassment reaches a breaking point in the middle of the royal hall. Kichak corners Draupadi and physically assaults her in front of the throne, while the king refuses to intervene. Standing in the shadows, Bhima and his brothers watch the assault. They have the strength to kill Kichak instantly, but doing so would reveal their identities and doom their family to another decade of forest exile. Kichak's actions create a tactical vacuum. Draupadi requires immediate justice, but any conventional retaliation will destroy their geopolitical future. Draupadi refuses to remain a victim. Late that night, she slips into the royal kitchens for a covert meeting with Bhima to engineer a response. Draupadi weaponizes Kichak's own arrogance. By playing into his lust and his sense of untouchability, she turns his confidence into a lethal vulnerability. She approaches Kichak with a fake proposition, instructing him to meet her alone in the royal dance hall after midnight. This specific location isolates the target. The midnight rendezvous removes all potential witnesses and provides the pitch-black cover necessary for Bhima to take Draupadi's place. Kichak enters the silent, unlit dance hall alone. He spots a veiled silhouette resting in the darkness and approaches, believing his prize is waiting. As Kichak reaches out, the massive figure of Bhima rises from the shadows, instantly seizing his throat. Bhima faces a severe operational constraint. He must overpower the kingdom's greatest warrior in absolute silence to avoid alerting the palace guards stationed nearby. This forensic logic tree shows why traditional weapons are a liability. A sword leaves a clean slice. A mace leaves a blunt impact crater. Both are clear markers of a mortal soldier. To avoid leaving those markers, Bhima physically crushes the commander into an unrecognizable ball of flesh. The resulting injuries look less like a murder and more like the work of a supernatural force. This supports their cover story. The next morning, Draupadi claims that Kichak was struck down by the invisible Gandharva spirits who follow her to protect her honor. The extreme brutality of the act was a calculated necessity. It was designed to erase human fingerprints and maintain the integrity of their secret exile. By sunrise, the royal guards discover the remains. Terrified by the physical impossibility of the mangled corpse, the citizens of Virata buy into the Gandharva myth. But the news travels beyond the kingdom. Hundreds of miles away in Hastinapur, a network of spies reports the details of this bizarre, supernatural assassination to the Kaurava court. The perfect crime carries a hidden flaw. Bhima successfully hid his face and discarded his weapons, but he failed to hide the superhuman scale of the violence. The Kauravas strip away the ghost story. They have seen Bhima's wrestling before and recognize his specific bone-crushing signature. To them, this mangled sphere of flesh confirms exactly who is hiding in Virata. Bhima's attempt to obscure his identity had the opposite effect. The very method used to hide his involvement became the specific fingerprint that exposed the brothers to their enemies. Certain of the Pandavas' exact location, the Kauravas immediately mobilize their massive military empire and march toward Virata. The irony is sharp. By killing Kichak to protect Draupadi, Bhima created a military power vacuum. leaving their host kingdom defenseless against the coming storm. The greatest army in the world is now marching toward a vulnerable city that is unknowingly harboring 5 furious gods.